Welcome to another segment edition of the Wave Podcast, Women Veteran Entrepreneurs Podcast. My name is Omar Mohammed, helping you improve and progress in business and in life. The Wave Podcast is all about helping women veterans build capacity for their business, and is sponsored or powered by Truist Bank. And I'm not the only one here. We have a co-host who's been terrific on the shows, that she can talk from a veteran and entrepreneur perspective. And we have our retired Major General Linda Singh. Hey, Major General Singh, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Omar. It is great to be back.
All right, good deal. And as always, we always have a special guest. And today we have our special guest, Joy Hill Whitaker. How are you, Joy?
Good morning. I'm doing fine. Glad to be here.
All right, good deal. Well, let's kick it right off. First of all, tell us, what branch of the military that you served in, and for how many years?
I was in the U.S. Navy and I served for 4 years.
Okay. Well, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Yeah, one of my daughters is in the Navy now, so she's been in there for about 5 years now. So yeah,
Hmm.
I like all of them, but the Navy I like. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So, what transferable skills from the Navy to military do you have that really is helping you out with your business?
Well, right after college, I went into the Navy because I was, of course, trying to find myself and decide what I wanted to do. And my first degree is in broadcast journalism. So
Oh,
I went into the Navy and I was a photojournalist, got to work for AFARTS TV. It was really interesting. It gave me a chance to travel because I was a kid from a very poor background. I had never traveled before. So the Navy gave me an opportunity to travel and to learn other cultures and how to deal with other people.
mm, mm,
So it has helped me in general in my
mm.
career and in my side business. Yes.
Yeah, and that's important too. As you begin to get involved with entrepreneurship, as dealing with people from different backgrounds, but dealing with people from different genders, and all of that, really comes in play when you operate in a business, and those skills are truly important.
Yes.
And then the broadcast journalist. I'm not a journalist, by the way. My major was accounting, but I love being on the mic. So, I like that. I'm always interested to learn more about broadcast journalism. So, so when you were in the Navy, I guess the communication skills, the interviewing people, is that what you were doing, or was it something different?
I actually was a disc jockey at the radio TV station,
I
and
got
um
you.
and of course then after that I came back to Annapolis and I worked for the Admiral as his photojournalist and worked
Mm.
for All Hands Magazine right as a writer. So
Ah.
that was my first career in the Navy, but I liked people, so I went back to school and got another degree so that I could work with children
Mm.
and try to do something to help people. I like working with people, so I got a second degree in counseling and started working. So I'm also the CEO of Boys and Girls Clubs of Southern Maryland.
Oh, wow.
And then my entrepreneurial skills are I own a company called Mama Joy's Catering because sometimes you do things because it's something that you can do well and
Hmm.
it's something that people like. So people like my cooking. So I started a side business, which affords me the opportunity to travel all over the world because I make pretty good money on the side cooking for groups and for other people. And that's how I got into the entrepreneurial side. I have a regular job as the CEO, but then I have my company called Mama Joy's Catering, and that's where I get the entrepreneur thing.
Absolutely.
Wow. So it
Yep.
just, as I think about being a journalist and then going back and getting counseling, and now so you're doing the Boys and Girls Club as the CEO. You're also doing your own business in terms of catering. So you are counseling from two different aspects, right? You're doing it through food and love. Is that the way that you look at it? And then you're kind of associating back with the kids, and which you can also get to them through food as well, in many cases.
Exactly, because, especially in our culture, food is love. I mean, my husband sometimes says that, in the North, when you go to someone's house, they offer you something to drink. But in the South, they say, what do you want to eat? You just go from house to house eating. So, I'm
Yes.
from the South, and I came up to the DC area, but that's when you come to my home, that is what happens. You get something, you get offered something to eat. And
Mm.
over the years, people liked what I cook. So it
Mm.
just gave me a chance to branch out and to do some of the things I like doing for the community. Because not only do I cook for other people, private parties, that type of thing, we also do stuff for the homeless, provide
Oh,
food for the
wow.
homeless. We do
Mm.
outreach to people who don't have the things they should have. So it gives me an opportunity to, as you say, provide love in the community and have the extra funds I need to do things like travel, because that is my other passion. So, and it has been very good to me. And it gives me the opportunity to do that. And because I am prior military, and my daughter is prior Marine, she spent 20 years in the Marine Corps. Um, I've met a lot of military people, so I have cooked up to for like 300 Marines before. I've provided private meals for some generals. So I've been able to take my skills and build my business by offering it to people who. It's sort of funny. I've been out on I went to a Marine Corps ball in Vegas one year, and some of the Marines said, Mama Joy, are you here to cook for us? I was like, no, baby, I'm here as a guest. But it was sort of
Right.
funny because that meant I had cooked in so many places that people in California knew that I was in Vegas, but I was actually there as a guest. And somebody in the elevator said, are you here to cook for us? And I said, I've been cooking for too many military people, because that's what they saw. Even though I was in a gown and looking nice and everything, they thought, oh, she must be here to cook. And so it gives me a good feeling to know that the services that I offer have made people happy and made them want to share my name, because my business is generally word of mouth. Everything I've done, people have passed my name along. I don't have to do advertising. They just hear about it from somebody else, or they're at a function that I cater, and then they say, hey, or somebody says, if you're looking for a good caterer, I know this woman. So it's been able to help me build a steady clientele.
Mm.
Wow.
And make a lot of takeaways. So I'm gonna jump into this one here, and that is, working as a lender and work with entrepreneurs for a number of years. I always talk about the cake lady. So the cake lady works full time.
Mhm.
In her spare time, she makes cakes to
Mhm.
kill for. I mean, these cakes are good. And then somebody says to her, "Are you should sell these?" And she says, "You're right. I should sell these. So let me just start doing this as a hobby." And that hobby turns into a business. And that business continues to operate in some cases. She quits her job, and then she has to go back because she wasn't prepared. It seems like you have a full-time job, and at a high level, you're at a higher level, and you have this part-time business on the side. So
Yes.
so a number of takeaways from me is that I want to learn, and hopefully other people are to get to learn this as well, is when did you decide that it was the time for you to do this business, this hobby, to a business, and then you're at a higher level in your full time. How has those skills helped?
Well, there are times that, people have said you should really quit your job. And
Mm,
because, I
mm,
had so much catering business that I had to hire some
wow.
people to help me.
Mm,
But I actually love what I do, and I service kids. I take care of kids. I deal with children who are in crisis. And cooking is actually a side thing for me. I love it. Honestly, it's not that I love cooking. What I love is what food means to people. I love the result. What makes me
Mm.
happy is when people eat or they say, "Oh my God, you make the best macaroni and cheese," or or they say, "I love your peach cobbler." That makes me
Mm.
happy. I'm happy
Mm.
seeing people happy about my food. But I love children and I love families, and I can't see giving that up. So, it's worked well for me because we all have mortgages and car notes and all of
Yeah,
that type of stuff. So I need a
that's right.
paycheck. Okay. Um,
Yes.
so the good thing is that I can manage my life, and the catering thing is lucrative enough for me to do all the extra stuff because it's like throwaway money for me.
Mm.
Um, and when I need extra help, I have a group of people who can't wait to work for me because I try to pay them well
Mm.
on the events that we work together on.
Mhm.
But it has allowed me. I have been on every continent except Antarctica. And if COVID hadn't come, I would have been to Antarctica by now.
Oh
But
wow.
I've traveled all over the world, and
Mhm.
it has not affected any of my household business because I'm able to make that money catering. Now, what I have to tell people is that means that you don't always get to sit down and watch TV because when
Mm.
you're working, you're working. You have to when the jobs come. There are times when I have way too many jobs, and I know a couple other caterers that I trust
Mhm.
that when I can't do it, I say I can recommend, and I'll use my reputation to say I can recommend another caterer. But generally, it's just a good way to stay in contact with people because I do absolutely love the different people that I get to meet and spend time
Mhm.
with. And it really does make me feel great when someone calls me out of the blue and says, "Hey, I live in California, but I'm going to be doing a women's retreat in DC, and somebody gave me your name." And that
Wow.
happened to me just before the pandemic, where, a motivational speaker from California called me and booked me to cook for their event. And it was because they had heard about me through
Mhm.
another person that they knew. And so I was like, well, they say, no, we just heard about it. We know you're good because we trust the person who said your name. And that was a large event. And, I had another 5 or 6 people to work with me to do that event. And it worked out perfectly. And then I got 3 or 4 more jobs after that because of that one big event.
Yeah.
So it's just word of mouth and doing a good job. I think anything that business that you start, even if it's small, you have to have excellent work
Mhm.
because you will live or die by your reputation no matter what.
Mm.
So and that's what I try to tell young people that
Yes.
anything that you do, any business that you start, if you're washing cars, make sure that when you finish washing that car, that the person goes out and said, "Oh my God, best detailing job ever." Because if they
Mm.
feel that way, they're going to pass the word to somebody else, and it will only make your business grow. And what I know
Mm.
is if I wanted to quit my job as a CEO, I could probably do well as a caterer full time. But then I'd
Mm.
be missing out on another aspect of my life that I love.
Absolutely. Wow. I love food. I'm happy.
Well, I have
I
to invite you over for a food
yes,
tasting.
I can't wait to do this food tasting. You said macaroni and cheese?
Oh, it's funny.
Yes.
I wrote down Joy Hill Whitaker caterer, big time, right? Because I do a lot of
Yes.
events and I'm sitting there going, okay,
Yes.
I got to look at her stuff because
Yes.
I'm just like, I'm always looking for caterers around the holiday times and,
Mhm.
people that can touch a family. And so, hopefully this year we'll be able to do something because of COVID. And, Joy, there's something else that you hit on. And it's funny because the insurance company that I have, so I have USAA, but for the business insurance, they push it off to one of their other partners. And so Hartford, and I get all of these business emails from them. And one of the emails that I got yesterday, it was last night, and it's like you said this, and it's like it just hits me because I talk about this all the time: is multiple streams of income.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
And what I loved about the article is it's talking about these individuals who are billionaires and how they have, they don't have just one thing, they have multiple streams of income. And so how do you create those multiple streams of income to put your life in a different position? And that's kind of what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, I came from a family of 12 children. And when I look back now, people are always saying, "Oh my God, you've traveled, you've done this, you've done that," and there are things that I thought I could never dream of doing. So my business as a caterer has allowed me to do some extra stuff after you make your bills, and it's been a wonderful life. I'm really pleased that I've been able to take this business and use it to improve my life and other people's lives, and it's just been a wonderful experience. So I'm always trying to encourage young people that if there's something you do, as I said, and you do it well, then try to do it on the side until I don't encourage people to quit their day job and be homeless.
Yes.
Okay. And every now and then somebody does so well or looks up and gets the right contract and they can't quit their job. But I think a lot of people don't follow their dream because they have to pay the mortgage. And I'm saying you can do both. You can have that business and still make all the necessary payments you need to make. It just means you work a little harder, but it's worth it. It's truly worth it.
Absolutely. The cake lady. You go back to the example. And the cake lady is actually a real person. She quit her job and then she opened up a location in a high rent area and called me on it to say that look at me. I'm like, that's not what we taught you, but yeah, you can do them both, and don't quit until you're ready. Don't allow, to be forced out or just say, okay, I'm tired of here, I'm gonna go over here. Because when you get over here, you still want to have to answer to somebody. That's called customers and suppliers.
And as an entrepreneur, one thing that we should have all learned during COVID is I was having so much work as a caterer before 2000, 2020 came in, March. I mean, I was turning down work. But
Wow.
during COVID, the business basically dried up.
Yeah.
And you still need a stream of income so that you don't lose everything that you have. And that's why I'm glad I have a job, because I'm still able to maintain. I didn't have to sell any of my, cookware. I didn't have to do any of that. And I'm ready. And as it's opening up, I'm already getting calls again saying, "Hey, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? What are you doing?" People are already asking me if I'm available. And I'm like, let's see what's going to happen here. But I know that there are people who are ready to get back out there and ready to have events. And they're like, are you booked for this? Are you booked for that? So people want to, if your reputation is good, they're going to come back to you. But I was really happy that I was one of those people that didn't start selling off my little equipment that I have, or the, warmers or whatever. And it's because I had another stream of income, because I do know so many people who are in business that basically closed up shop for good because of the pandemic. And that's not the way you want to do it. And obviously, like you said, if you're ready and you have enough savings where you can make it through a bad time, then you're okay if you're quitting your job. But if you don't have a couple years money saved, I would never encourage a young person to do that, because you'll lose everything at once. And I know I've been able to survive because I made wise decisions in my business.
Absolutely. So that leads me to the plan of action. So as you're the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club, and people were suggesting, you should quit the Boys and Girls Club and start the catering business. But your wisdom said, no, I'm gonna have multiple streams of income, and I'm gonna do the Boys and Girls Club as well as my business. So what plan of action did you have to transition to the business? Did you have a business plan?
Well, yeah, I had a small business plan, but really wasn't that complicated because obviously, because when I started, I could do everything out of my house. I am
Mhm.
blessed to have a home that's, well equipped enough that I could do everything out of my house,
Yeah.
and be prepared to set up. And then if I needed to go somewhere, like for a large event, you can always rent a kitchen or something like that. Um, so my plan was, along the way, I pay attention to things. If there's a piece of equipment I need or some dishes I need, or, I've done events where I need champagne glasses. When I see a sale at Macy's and those
Mm.
champagne glasses that were $5 a piece are on sale for half price, that's when you
Yes.
run out and you buy 50 glasses that you really don't need, but they're going to be in your basement or whatever.
Yeah.
But when somebody has something that is a dinner that they want, the nice place settings and stuff, I have gotten those things, and I
Yeah.
wasn't able to buy them all at once. I buy them a little at a time. But my friends and people who customers have always said, "Oh my God, you have the nicest stuff," when you're serving. But it wasn't easy, and I might have bought one piece at a time, or a serving dish that costs $100, and it's only as big as a plate. But you get one piece at a time, or every time you see a sale, you go ahead and get two or three pieces. And
Yeah.
before you know it, I can do a barbecue or I could do a wedding.
Mm.
And that is the point, being able to do different things, and I feel just as comfortable giving somebody a small birthday party in their yard and serving generals at Quantico, because I've done that. So, and I had all the equipment I needed in order to do it, and a list of people who would go with me to help serve. Because
Mm.
if you find a bunch of college students and you pay them right, they will show up to serve for you. And that's and you
Yeah.
give them some work, and you have all the extra help you need for an event. So that is the plan. I tell people, pay attention to the sales, and generally I don't need 100 champagne glasses. I generally don't. But I know, if you wanted me to come do if either one of you wanted me to come do something special at your house, a 50th or birthday party or something, you might say, "I want champagne glasses." I have them because I have bought them over time, and it makes it easy for me to provide what people want.
I love it. So I was going to ask about the advice you would give to the individuals. I mean, you went from, and it's based off of your skill set that you currently have. Hiring people when you know that, oh, job is going to be big. I'm going to need some help, or collaborate with individuals. Look, my reputation means a lot to me. So don't go out and mess this up. and you're
Absolutely.
and you're solving the problem. That's what I say to entrepreneurs. Don't just jump out there and say you're good at something. Figure out what problem can you solve for people. And people love to eat. Now,
They love to eat.
there's another cake lady I can tell you about. Her business just went up during the pandemic. She said, Omar, people love sweets. And I had to open up another location because people love sweets. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stay away from those sweets, but let me get one of those cakes over there. So good. It's good to see that you have that plan of action in those multiple streams of income. Now, I would ask the question: how are you managing all this? I mean, you're the CEO of a major organization, and you have your own business as well.
Um, I am by nature an organized person.
Mm,
So I think ahead. I know ahead of a time what I'm going to do. Um, I'm
mm.
turning 64 August 14th.
All right.
And I have been,
Happy
I was
birthday.
so happy to get past COVID, um, even though stuff is going on, that I started planning just a get together for my friends. And we're going to be very safe.
Yeah.
But I planned so far ahead, like I rented a tent that was for 150 people, and there's only 46 of us, so that everybody
Mm,
would be really a lot of space. And I encourage other people to do the same. when you know you want to accomplish something, plan ahead. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't wait until the week before. I mean, months before. If someone said, "Hey, I want you to do Thanksgiving dinner," I start organizing, thinking about what they might want for dinner to make sure I can get, the best deals on the type of plates they want or whatever. So whatever I bring to your home is going to be quality. You're going to have a first class service because I have organized so far in advance that I'm not
Mhm.
worried about 3 days before Thanksgiving saying, "Oh my gosh, she said she wanted purple tablecloths," and I don't have them. So I try to stay 3 steps ahead of everything. And then that way it's not overwhelming at the end. And I can make sure that my product is good because that's what counts.
That's what.
And, I just make sure that I get things done so that it's not at the last minute.
Yep, that's what counts. Your reputation and the job that you're doing as well. All right, so I mean, if I'm invited, I'll swing by if I'm in town. Just happen to be around the corner.
You're both invited.
All right, can't wait. All right, so any final thoughts that you have for, especially those veterans who are in your position, working a full time job, and I'm gonna add this at a supervisory level because there's more responsibilities that you have working for someone else, and then having this I don't want to say part-time, I'm gonna say an
Mhm.
entrepreneurial venture as well. What advice would you give to them to be successful as both, really?
Well, I like to tell my staff at Boys and Girls Club this. I have young people who work for me, a lot of just out of college graduates. And one of the things I say to them is, when you want to get to my level, you work smarter, not harder. And I really believe that if they, the reason I can do more things is because I have learned how to work smarter. So I make sure that everything is working well at the organization so that when I'm not there, I have hired qualified people to make sure that it continues to work. So that
Mm.
if they need something, it's a phone call. If I have to be there every second, then I've done something wrong. So I'm going to train my people to be the best
Yeah.
so that they can run the company when I'm not there. Okay. And of course, being the CEO, I've been around for 25 years. So I have lots to leave so I don't abuse my work position. I always
Mhm.
tell people if you're doing something on the side, don't abuse your daytime job. Okay.
Absolutely.
If I need to take leave because I'm doing a big event, I take a couple of days leave. And like I said, I also tell other entrepreneurs, if you hire people, pay them well and treat them well.
Mm.
Because if you do, people will, I get people calling me all the time saying, "When's the next event?" Because they know they're going to be paid well. And because they are paid well, they come and they do a good job and they want to work for me. So if you're trying to run a project and you don't want to pay people, you're going to have a hard time getting people to show up to work. When they get there, they're not going to work hard. But everybody that I hire, they come and they do a good job because they know that they're going to be paid well. So they feel good about being there and they want to be called back. So that's some of the best advice I can give young entrepreneurs is treat your people as well as you would want to be treated, as well as you would treat yourself, so that
Mm.
people they'll want you to succeed.
Absolutely. All right, Major General, any comments,
I
final
just
thought?
love that. And it
Yeah.
hasn't been
Yeah.
lost on me that she has said about 6 times that she has cooked for a lot of generals. So that just gives me an incentive to I've got to go out and look at your stuff, Joy, and see, okay, if I'm going to have something here this year, how do I reach out to you?
Well, you can always call. You have my information. My phone number is 301-379-4876. Feel free to call me. I'm always available. And I do have references. So I'm sure you may know some of the generals I have cooked for. So
Yeah.
I'm willing to give you references because I'm sure they would speak well. But I'm really open, but I'm easy to find. It's Joy Hill. And you can call my email is joyousjh1 at AOL.com. That's for cooking. I have another email for work for Boys and Girls Club, but you can even reach out to me there if you need me, or if you want to have kids find out about working and starting their
Right.
own business. That's jhill at bgcsm.net. That's Boys Girls Club Southern Maryland.net. I'm always available and I love talking to kids. So if I can help somebody start their own business, I'm willing to. And there's so many ways they can do it. There's so many grants out there available for young people who want to start. Um, I was in a little better situation because I can afford to buy my own things. But I tell young people, your dream can be realized if you just work at it.
Absolutely. Well, Joy Hill Whitaker, thank you for coming on board the Wave podcast. Really appreciate the knowledge that you shared with us, and we'll definitely make sure people reach out to you.
Thank you all so much for having me. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.
No worries. Can't wait to meet you. And I love food.
Well,
All right, good deal. All right, so we're gonna take actually we're gonna go into our resource segment coming up next. So we're gonna take a quick break and we'll hit on over to our resource session. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Wave Podcast, Women Veteran Entrepreneurs Podcast. And every podcast, we want to have a resource, a resource to really help the women veteran entrepreneurs continue building capacity. So you're in for a treat, I guess. Today's resource is me, the entrepreneurial development and let me do that again. It's EDAC, the Entrepreneurial Development and Assistance Center, which is at Morgan State University. And we're really at the midpoint. So we're going to do 12 of these podcasts. So we're at the 6-month podcast, 6-month time period, I should say. And we're going to kind of recap some of the things that we're focused on over the last couple of months. And, we had some great entrepreneurs to come on to the podcast. Some were for full time, some were working a full time job while working their entrepreneurial venture. So some good conversations over the last couple of months, and really interesting. I don't think any of them were involved with government contracting. It was mostly service. Well, I think maybe one was government contracted, but it's mostly service and product offerings. So it's just a great conversation with individuals. You just heard from Joy. She got me thinking about that macaroni and cheese. I can't wait to meet her. But nonetheless, let me just kind of go over what we do at Morgan State University. So we, of course, do general entrepreneurship. We work with budding entrepreneurs, the students, faculty, and staff, and we do some outreach into the community. And we also do government contracting. So we work with the Department of Defense with their mentor protege program, working with large federal government contractors and pairing them up, all of us working together to pair them up with smaller companies where the smaller company can do business with the big corporations, but also with the federal government as well. We have a returning citizen. So those individuals who are formerly incarcerated, we have an entrepreneurship training program we call RIDE. Returning citizens involved. It's a long name, y'all. It's called RIDE. But it's really about entrepreneurship training, and we do entrepreneurship training. We do a pitch competition. We also have a podcast. We call it the Breakthrough Podcast, where we bring on returning citizens who are now entrepreneurs, and just like this, we have a resource section there too. We also have a women business center, the Baltimore Metropolitan Women Business Center. I know in the state of Maryland, there are three, one down in Eastern Shore, and they kind of work Baltimore as well. And the other one is in, I think, Rockville. Yep, Rockville. So with that, they offer a number of webinars as well as their 9, I think it's 10 now, 10 business advisors. So if you're looking for one-on-one business advice, you can reach out to those individuals at no cost. So it's funded by through the Small Business Administration, and you can have an opportunity to do that. And then, if that's not enough, I also do another podcast, which is really only 20 minutes. It's called the Entrepreneurs Hub, where entrepreneurs grow. I'm just learning from entrepreneurs on how they got started and what resources they use to stay in business. And of course, this particular initiative is funded through Truist Bank. So we do this podcast. We have an entrepreneurial training program. We have a number of webinars around government contracting. And then we have a loan fund. We have a loan fund that we partner with uh, an organization called the Maryland Capital Enterprise. So we'll have them on as one of our resources in the future. And then next year, we'll have an event, an annual event where we'll kind of talk about everything that we've done over the year to bring together lessons learned, bring together entrepreneurs and resource providers as well. So I know that was a mouthful. We could be found at EDAC Morgan, all one word.com. All the information I just went over is on our website. And then we do some specialized workshops as well, especially for the students and the faculty and staff. So there may be a specialized workshop on, many of the students are interested in branding, clothing. So we'll bring on some individuals who have been in that industry for years. Actually, like one of my students, he actually came up with this shirt. I mean, this is my logo, but the shirt is it's a button polo and it's also zips as well, right? And then it's waterproof. I'm not gonna pour no water on me right now, but it's waterproof. And he was on Shark Tank, so he'll come back and speak to the students about how to do high end products as well. And then we do something around real estate. We have an alum who's been he calls himself a neighborhood landlord for over 40 something years. So he comes in and he just provides workshops. I mean, he gives you the truth about being a landlord and investing in real estate. So we'll do some of those type of workshops as well. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at EDACpreneur. You should know how to spell preneur right now. Entrepreneur. It's right here, y'all. So EDACpreneur. So those are the things that we do at the Entrepreneurial Development and Assistance Center. I'm gonna pause here, ask Major General Singh if she has retired Major General Singh. If she has any comments, questions.
Well, I think it's just amazing that you all do all of those things. Could you tell us just a little bit more about what you do in government contracting? Because I think you're right. Most of the guests that we've had are not in that space, but for those individuals that want to venture into that world, you hit on a couple of things that would be worth just highlighting a little bit more.
Oh, good thing. So we do project management. So in not only a government contract, as an entrepreneur, project management could be a good tool to have. We do strategic planning. So once you're in business, you put together the strategic plan that you and your team. Hopefully, you have a team. If you don't have a team, you can build up to that team as well. And then we work with subcontractors to come in and do quality assurance. So CMMI, ISO, to make sure that your company is really geared toward doing business with the federal government. I mean, federal government is a big organization, so they want to make sure that you have the right tools to make sure that you can go into doing business with the federal government. So those are kind of some of the things that we work on. We do some HR, because some of these businesses are 10 employees, but as they get involved with the mentor, they business may grow tenfold. So you have to kind of figure out, all right, your business at 10 employees is going to look different from your business at even if you have five more. So you have to kind of be in position to handle that. Having a if it's not a HR department, maybe it's somebody that can come in that you can outsource that to help you out with that initiative. So yeah, we've been involved with it since 2004, and it keeps us busy. Keeps us busy, and it helps us, fund some of the activities that we do at the university. So thank you for asking about that. All right.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right. So if there's nothing else, we're going to end this particular podcast. Really appreciate you all tuning in. Again, edacmorgan.com is the website to go to, and you'll learn more about all of the resources available to you there. And we can stretch. We don't have a big staff, so I was about to say we can stretch all the United States. We can stretch some parts of Maryland. I'll put it that way, and we use our ecosystem because we partner with other organizations, the SBDC, the other women business centers, the other universities, so that it's just not us doing the work, but we can partner with them as well. All right. So with that said, don't forget to check out past episodes of the Wave podcast at edacmorgan.com. There's a website. There's a link there, and to connect you with that. The Wave podcast is on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. It's WVE Podcast, and you can search for us there. And I think that's it. So until next time, continue your efforts on capacity building for your business, and don't forget to always improve and progress. Take care.